Welcome to The Informant, the podcast that talks about anything and everything. We cover from sports, religion, politics, social, you name it. I'm your host as ever, Doc McLeod. So without any further ado, let's delve right into it. People of God, I hope you are well. Right, I hope you have had a good day. Right, let me just bring a bit of updates and a bit of some explanation as to what's on the ground. I'm right here. So the good thing is I'm meeting certain people and understanding exactly the current position on the ground. I'm not here for politics, but where I need clarification pertaining to one or two things, I just have got to utilize the opportunity of me being close to the people. Right. Let's look at this video where I was talking about the forthcoming troubles of Traore before he fell victim to the system, and I'll be explaining much pertaining to what needs to be done from here on. Right. I was also talking to some people, and if you look at it, you'll see that I also told you about the charge, which hasn't yet been officiated. But the good thing is, exactly as I have told you today, which is what, 2 days after, you are seeing it now on Crime Watch. And as you can see, there is the post. Crime Watch has actually had to put it out exactly as I told you, meaning to say that this information, I had it was given to me after my consultation, trying to see how best things can be worked out. As was explained to me, it is exactly how they've actually listed. Right. There's also another intriguing issue, but the good thing about this issue is I'm very close to, I'm sort of like close to certain people. You build relationships as you go. For me to have a relationship with you, it doesn't mean to say I have to come and support the party that you support. No. But what I consider most is, are you also willing for us to meet on a common ground and then discuss certain issues where advice needs to be given? It's a give and take. I don't change people's opinions. So at the end of the day, there's something that I was told. I'll come to the Traore issue in a minute. Chances are I'll meet Traore. I'll get to see Traore maybe within the next 2-3 days. I think I might be granted the right to see him and then have a word or two, because what he did is something I'd advised him against. But nevertheless, let's come to this now. There's also a platform that I always appear on. If you look at it, you'll see that he had actually posted. But now it's me coming back to him. This is Point 5 Creative. Bam. Let me bring it as it is so that I explain. Blessed Dara was once arrested for giving platform to people that were trying to oust the sitting president, who was Blessed Geza and the crew of the what do you call them, the war veterans. Blessed stayed in prison for quite a number of days. He was in remand. Let me put it that way. He was in remand for quite a number of days. And it started to become sort of like a challenge even to most people. People started to speak out. So what I was hinted is, if you look at Point 5 Creative, he also gave platform to Traore, who was also driving the same narrative that was driven by Blessed Runesugeza. So what I was asked is, what's now the difference between what Blessed Dara did and what Point 5 Creative did? Also the other channels that have given a Traore platform, you must know. You must also know that your names are somewhat on the board. I want to mention Point Five Creative because I have a relationship with this young guy. So the rest, I'm not going to be talking about them. I'll talk about him. But let me talk about Point Five Creative. If you look at Crime Watch, they actually have posted Traore making his presentation on Point Five Creative. I was asked, what's the difference between what Blessed Dara did with Blessed Runesu ZESA and what Point Five Creative did with Traore? I could not see the difference, and I knew exactly where that question was heading. I just had to wait and see while I listened to the explanation that was being given to me. When I got the explanation, I told them the relationship that I had with these young guys, and I actually had to say, let me take this opportunity to apologize on their behalf. I'll take the honors. I will approach them myself when I go back to England. I will approach them myself, explain to them the situation that's on the ground. Because if you're not careful and you ignore some of these things, you'll never know that you are having skeletons in the wardrobe. These are things that if something happens, they can pick up on and bring forth. You know, in politics, most of the time they wait for somebody to make an error, to make a mistake, and then they keep those skeletons in the wardrobe. They can only be brought out when there's a situation that they want to drive. So in that regard, some of these mistakes, we make them out of ignorance, without us knowing. But you know, when a case is about to, when they want to create a case, this is exactly some of the things that they can just pull out. Honestly speaking, consider what Blessed Dara did and consider what Point Five Creative did. They both gave platform to people who are pushing for the ousting of the sitting president. So whatever charge befell Blessed Dara is also the charge that's most likely to befell Point Five Creative. But nevertheless, because it has been mentioned way in time, it also gives us room for us to make sure that we discuss with certain players as to what they should allow on their platforms and who they should allow and for what reason. There are some people who are just on platforms giving news pertaining to what's happening. That's not a crime. That's not even an issue. Everyone has got the freedom of speech. But when there is somebody who is aggressively targeting the sitting president and the party, especially with his cronies, I think you definitely have to agree with me. Let's not beat about the bush here. You definitely have to agree with me that they will end up taking it personally. So this is the situation. I'll be contacting Point Five Creative and one other player for us to discuss these things so that they understand. Because you know what, people that come on our platforms, at times they just want to clap hands for us. And when we are in trouble, they tend to abandon us. Look at the young guy, Nyoka Mabunu. Very few people are talking about him. Today, I want to believe he was in court, but nothing was said about him. I was checking on my list of followed YouTubers, but nothing was broadcasted about him, as if nothing happened. You see, you can simply lose significance overnight while people look for another person who is ready to be a victim. What I'm saying is, don't wait for people so that you just become a victim. When you are in trouble, these people don't come up to try and help you or assist you in whatever way. So we need to be very careful. Politics at this point in time is at a very critical point. So let's not undermine the dangers that come with it. In politics, I don't want to lie, this is African politics. There's the elimination. You can say whatever you say, but I'm telling you the truth. In African politics, there is elimination. There is victimization. You saw what happened when the people were trying to gather together for them to, what do they call them? The pressure groups. Let me tell you what's on the pressure groups. Let me forewarn you. You know, I know players in politics. I know players in politics. Let me tell you something. Job Sikala and the team that he was sitting with, me being me and knowing most of the players there, be very careful. There's one who's not with you. I have said it openly. At one point, I wanted to say the name, but I just said, let me keep the name to myself. Amongst yourselves, there's one who's not for you. So whatever you guys are doing, there's somebody who's taking information out from where you are, thinking you are a close circle, making sure that he gives it out. So be prepared for the dangers that will come within that group. I have forewarned you for you to be forearmed. This I will refer to one day when I tell you. Then the other issue that's coming now, as you can see on this letter, some people have actually been suspended from work, if not fired, for turning down electricity at the parliament when the president was presenting. He ended up presenting with a torch on. What does it tell? It shows you that there is still tension within the ZANU-PF. Some people seem not to want to give up to this fight. So I can tell you the fight is on. This other team might have a few people, but there are some people who are still believing that they are hard nuts to crack and can still continue to hold on. The action that people are making mockery of, the action that people are making fun of, it's an action that has called for another extra intensification of security to the sitting president and searching within the ZANU-PF. Definitely things are not well. When you see such situations, it's not coincidence. This is the second time this has happened. To say when the president is presenting, some people make fun of the situation by turning off electricity. Heads are going to roll. But if this is not handled very well, I foresee disaster befalling. Because right now, we are starting to have a situation where nobody trusts no one. So as it's unfolding, I'll tell you what I heard pertaining to this. It's not like they don't know what happened, but definitely what I'm told is they are seriously scrutinizing CCTVs within the building for the last 7 days. Because what happened for Sona, it's not something that was planned within a day, but they believe there are some people that have been coming to the premises and making sure that they are planning to articulate this move. So the CCTV recordings are under serious scrutiny. We have come at that point now where you don't need to be where a person doesn't need to be contacting a lot of people. Because when one person is caught and their mobile phone is confiscated, whoever has been making contact with that person, you are now most likely also to be considered a friend of an enemy. So at the end of the day, you don't want to be victimized. So let's also limit our communication, texting, calling, whatever, with people who are on the battleground or are targeted as spies from within the system. That's the little information that I'm just giving it to you. But one thing I can promise you is within the next three days, I want to try and put a lot of effort so that I go and see the young guy, Traore. At least if I get to have a word with him, if they do permit me, of which most likely they might. I'm not saying they are going to. I cannot set orders for them. If I plead with them, they might allow me to have a word with him. Let me have a word with him. Let me speak to him. Let me see if he has learned from his mistakes. If he wants to remain a comrade pertaining to the team that is representing, that will be up to him. But all I know is if I speak to him, or if I'm granted chance or opportunity to speak to him, you know, at times maybe he becomes remorseful because his issues are three. The charges that's going to come to on Traore is three of them. I'll mention two. Number one, it's all about the immigration. They are still vetting to try and see how he managed to cross the border. If he did, because he did, they want to make sure that it's within the system. If it's not, they want to know how he managed to cross the border, bypassing the systems of the most likely Bait Bridge border post. Plumtree, they will verify, but they want to believe that he came through Bait Bridge. If it's not in the system, then it means to say heads are also going to roll from within the Beitbridge border post. CCTVs are being monitored, are being checked to try and see how he managed to come into the country or sneak back into Zimbabwe without being noticed. So that's issue number one, the immigration issue. Issue number two, like I told you, there's people that he has actually attacked personally. These people have got the right, I can tell you, to open cases against him. If that does happen, it means to say he's going to, even if he doesn't have an offense that he might not have committed, the fact that these people they've put in a police report, it means to say they will also have the right to apply to stop him from going out of the country, that he remains and become answerable, because the way he was attacking them, they believe it was too personal, and for that they want to open cases against him. But let's wait and see, praying that they might find it within their heart to forgive him, that because he's a young guy, you know, young people make mistakes. I want to believe they will find it within their heart to forgive him, and that case be dropped. Then the last one, which I'm not going to mention, because if I mention it, it will be like I'm tampering around with the police issues and police investigations. I'll mention it maybe after I meet up with Traore. But for now, just keep him in prayers. At the very same time, please stay away from most political players, because there's still a lot of tension amongst the two parties. As of now, I'm out. Enjoy your
Yeah.